I rarely fish the banks anymore. Okay, the banks are great when it's like the beginning of the outgoing tide, all right? And all those spill ponds and all the points have current going by them, stuff like that. You know, that's phenomenal, that's great, okay? If I can have a morning like that. There is a downside to it though. There's too much water around. There's too many creeks. You know, on any given morning, due to the wind factor or the way the sun is, or if it's a neap tide, who knows? I mean, sometimes the tide doesn't go out. If the Earth, Moon, and the Sun are perpendicular to each other, like a right angle, you have a neap tide. You might have 1 foot of movement or none at all. So it's not a dependable thing. So what I'm going to look for now is open water. And what open water offers me, say it's dead low tide in the morning. Everything's been pushed off of the banks, okay? And now I'm fishing open water. And what I'm going to be looking for are grass beds. And I'm not sure if you ever noticed the grass beds or not, but they're literally everywhere. The grass beds are phenomenal because what they do is they offer clean water all the time, okay? After Hurricane Irene, I was on some of the best fishing of the year after 4 days after that hurricane. I think the water was orange up here. It was actually orange everywhere in my back bay. In the intercoastal, it looked terrible. It was awful. And then I went 50 feet off the intercoastal, and it was absolutely gin clear. Okay, the grass catches the silt. The most important thing I'm looking for when I'm fishing in the back bay is clean water. Okay, the reason I'm fishing so shallow, literally all the time, I don't want to fish for fish that don't want to eat. Okay, I may know that there's bass in a certain area, but if they're not going to hit me within 2 or 3 casts, I'm moving. Eventually, what's going to happen is I'm going to find a school of fish, maybe 5 or 6 of them, okay? I'm going to bang them up, all right? Then I'm going to go to another area. I want to find the same thing over and over and over again. I don't want to fish for single fish, all right? Or guys that are like following me up, stuff like that. I mean, I might get like 2 follow-ups in the area within 3 minutes. 3 more casts, nothing, out, okay? For whatever reason, you know, they're fish. I've got no idea. They don't want to eat. You know, maybe they're full. You know, who knows? Okay. This is a grass bed. All right. This particular sound right here, Stone Harbor and Avalon, it's a little bit different than Ocean City. Ocean City, all of the creeks going into their sounds, they're very deep creeks going in. They can be anywhere from 12 to 15 foot of water. All right. On an outgoing tide, that's pretty awesome because there's nothing living in that waterway. So if you have like these little tiny minnow creeks, and those are the best ones. You want like little tiny things, you know, maybe a foot wide, you know, at most maybe 2 foot wide. Those deep creeks are great because you're pretty much guaranteed that on an outgoing tide that every little creek along that waterway going into the sound is going to have fish on it, okay? The way my area is made up is that I've got an intercoastal waterway that's dug through a flat because it's a straight line about 30 feet wide and about 4 feet deep. And the surrounding areas are 1 foot deep. Probably a 5 square mile area of a foot of water at low tide. It might be 3 or 4 feet of water at high tide, okay? That entire sound's gonna hold fish. But the problem is where. And you don't really wanna be fishing a solid grass bed because there's nothing there, there's no contour, there's no contrasting anything, there's no change to it. This area here, you see this right here? This is sand. Grass only grows in mud. And the sand's going to be unfertile and barren. There's a pothole here, a large one there. Pothole there, pothole there, pothole there, pothole there. All right? So when you're out in this open water, what the bass are doing is they're going to be on this grass line here and waiting. What they're waiting for is they can't hunt in that grass. The second they move on something, it goes right into the grass, okay? A little spearing, a shrimp, anything, it's gonna go in that grass. There's eels out there, all kinds of things that you see when you're pulling along, okay? they're gonna dive right into that stuff and they have got no chance. Okay, what the bass will do is they'll hang right on this grass in here, okay, and they'll look to the sand, and they'll look for anything coming across that pothole. The second they see it, one bat of the tail, that's all it takes. If they can single something out that's 20 feet away, all they gotta do is hit their tail once, like a torpedo, they're on it. It's done. What you wanna do is you're making a really, really long cast on these flats. Finesse doesn't matter that much. Splashing there, not too important. It's not really an accuracy thing. What I'm doing is I'm hitting 3 or 4 potholes at a time. Okay, I've got about a 45-degree angle in front of me. Okay, that as I'm moving along. I don't really fish behind myself. Okay, or off to the side. I'm always fishing in front of the boat. Okay, and I cast that plug over 3 or 4 potholes, and we're in this water here. Just give you an idea. That's how deep it is. This is about 7 inches of water. Okay, that bass right there, he's 28 or a little bit below or above. Okay. So when you bring it through this end right here, they're not going to follow it like that bass in that creek did. Okay. The second you bring it through, instantly.